Parents of Reddit, when did you realize your kid was creepy? Please like and subscribe to support this channel. Like paranormal activity level? Well, when she was a baby, she used to scream in the middle of the night, rambling on about the homo. She used Elmo as a blanket term for all monsters, only she pronounced it homo. One afternoon, I'm rocking her to sleep. When she says something about great mama wants to sleep, I should get her a cup of milk. I knew jack about my grandmother, but she passed shortly after my kid's birth. Turns out Grammy drank a glass of milk every single night before bed. Cool, not creepy. Few months later, we move. Kid starts acting straight up crazy. Mumbling to herself in this weird argument, saying things like, "No, I don't want to hurt mommy. I miss my daddy. That's not nice. That's mean," etc. Like I'm calling my mom telling her my kid sees dead jerks. A few days later, we're setting up a toddler bed. I can hear her talking with someone. I'm so excited. "Come on, I'll show you. Let's go." Again, this is abnormal. So I casually ask, "Who you talking to, babe?" She says, "My friend." Me. "What friend?" Her, "A guy." Me. "Well, what's he look like?" Her, "He's a guy, always asleep." Asleep or dead? So I'm like, "Yeah? Hey, dad, fix your daughter, shit's too weird for me." I call my mom, she comes with sage, cedar, the whole smudging bit. We're native, it's either that, or when I woke up to her sweetly petting my hair and going, "I want to slice your eyeballs from your head so the dog can have a toy." Well, so much for sleeping in. Once when my son was about 3 and had just started potty training. He was starting to do the telltale pee dance. I told him that he needs to go and try to use the potty. He turned, eyes as big as saucers, looked straight at me and said, "I can't go in there, mama. There's a bad man." Abruptly started backing away and crying. One of the most terrifying things ever. Especially since that was one of the first full sentences he said. Not a parent but a brother. My older brother and I realized my little brother was creepy when we would get random girls coming up to us in the halls in school, asking us to tell our little brother to stop asking them for nudes or to stop staring at them or touching them or just messaging them in general. My brother and I would always tell our little brother and he would deny everything. I went through his phone and saw everything he was saying to these people and confronted him about it and he still denied it. My older brother graduated and my little brother and I moved schools. From what I've heard from people here, he's already at large again. I'm a regular babysitter of 2 boys, age 9 and 5. Both are horrible listeners and very difficult to manage, but the oldest one seriously may have some issues. He's incredibly smart, he's in the 4th grade and is already at an 8th grade reading level. I mean, I'm talking about a very intelligent kid who knows right from wrong. These are some things I've experienced. Little brother was in the bathtub when older brother came in and pissed on him, because he wanted to and it was fun. Older brother punched younger brother in the face, stepped on his head, and started choking him. I asked him why he would hurt his brother so badly, and he responded, "Because I like to hurt him." Draws demons, skulls, and demogorgon-like creatures all over his homework. Remember, the kid is 9. Very manipulative to get his way. For example, the kids were misbehaving so I took away electronics. Oldest boy screamed and yelled in my face, then took my phone and threw it into the woods behind his house. Tried to make a wager with me that he wouldn't retrieve my phone until he got the PlayStation back. Think I might be dealing with a sociopath here. One night I'm laying in bed, facing the hallway. Everything is dark. I see my 5-year-old son's bedroom door open. He walks out, stands facing towards me for a couple of seconds, and then starts crawling on all 4s down the hallway towards my room. All I could see was his dark little figure coming towards me. It freaked me out so bad. I had to call out to him and tell him to stop and get back up. Little late, but one day I was staying the night at a friend's house. Deeply religious woman. She used to let her kids, age 7 and 10 at the time, watch BC-era Christian movies, many of which were very violent. I was concerned, at first, that it might have a negative effect on them, but she assured me they showed no real signs of danger. Well, while I slept over, I woke up at around 2 a.m. thinking I heard somebody break in. I heard shuffling feet and a whole lot of shushing. I tried to wake the mother up, but she was completely knocked out, so I grabbed the broom, best weapon I could find, and start slowly walking toward the noise. I get to the kitchen, and her 2 little sons are there, with Spider-Man masks on, * holding a stuffed animal impaled by a stick over the fire *. They must not have heard me walk in, and I overheard one of them talking about the final burning of the lamb. I made a swift 180 and walked directly back into the bedroom, walked calmly over to the mom, and violently shook her until she woke. I leaned into her ear and told her, "Jane, your sons are sacrificing a stuffed animal in your kitchen." Definitely one of the strangest experiences of my life. Not a parent, but rather the kid that informed another kid's parents of some creepy behavior that she had shown. This was years ago when I was only 7 or 8 years old. I'm 20 now, and I was good friends with this girl and her parents were friends with my mom. I was staying the night one day when I woke up to see their daughter standing by the bed I was in. I asked her what she was doing and she didn't respond. I started to get creeper out, so I turned on the beside lamp and saw that she was holding a butcher's knife. I called for my mom and my friend bolted from the room. That night my friend's parents started watching her closely for any more odd behavior. Sure enough, she would talk to herself and displayed severe paranoia. They took her to see a doctor and found out she had schizophrenia. That poor girl's life has changed so much and her parents' lives have been filled with stress and fear ever since. Of the same this G that happened to me happened to them. She is doing well now with her medicine, but her parents split up because the father couldn't handle the stress. She blames herself and it is heartbreaking. I'm just glad she got the help she needed before anything really bad happened. When my daughter was a year and a half old, she got out of her bed in the middle of the night, came up to me while I was sitting at my desk and goes, "The fire. It's coming. Shish." With a finger to her lips, and then goes back to bed. Then when she was 2, she and I were playing with her baby dolls on her bed, and I ask her, "Sweetie, do you want mommy to have another baby?" And she looks me dead in the face, takes a pillow, holds it over one of her dolls and whispers, "No." At 3 she comes up to me, strokes my ear softly and whispers, "Take your ear off, mommy." I do it. Finally, on her 3rd birthday she was in her room popping balloons from her party and I hear her go, "Pop all the balloons. Pop all of the joy." She's harmless, that I know of, but she's a little creepy somebody sometimes. Actually, me. My dad told me from at least 2 years old until I was about 6 or 7, I would bury matchbox cars in the backyard, replete with an elaborate funeral setup. I'd dig a small rectangular hole several inches deep, line up the survivors around it, then slowly drive, lower the dead one and then bury it. He said there's no way I would have seen anything like that at that age, and he had no clue where I got it from. His eyes look away in the distance as he said, "There must be hundreds of cars under that yard." Quote, "Late to this but I'll give it a shot. This is a friend's creepy kid, about 11 or 12 years old. I was at a yard party and I walk up on my friend and his kid. This kid has a lizard and he's squeezing the shit out of it. By the time I walk up, blood and guts are oozing out of the poor thing, it's dead. This kid is laughing, going on and on about all the cool stuff coming out. He was revved up, wouldn't surprise me if he was sporting a half chub. I mean he was asterisk into it. I looked at his dad and it's actually the first time I ever really connected with the phrase, rictus grin. The guy was looking at his kid with that frigging smile and total fear on his face. It was like something out of a movie. Creepy as it gets. I'm pretty sure I'll see this kid on the news sometime in the next few years as a serial killer. My nephew came over and my dog Wiley nipped him on the leg. He was okay and we won't have kids around the dog anymore. Anyway, he asked me if Wiley was going to get in trouble. I said yes he will. What do you think should be his punishment? In his a very sweet, high-pitched little boy voice he said, "I don't know. He could get a spanking or get yelled at." And then his voice suddenly dropped very low and he said, "Or kill the dog." Then his voice went back to normal and he went on, "Or take away his toys or tell him he's bad." Freaked me and my brother out. My brother and I went to check on my 3-year-old niece since we thought we heard her bouncing on her bed. My brother must have known something was up with his daughter since he asked me, a 4 feet 11, 5'08" lb girl, to open the door and check while he kinda stayed behind. Upon opening the door my niece is like having serious spasms or something. She was laid out with all her limbs spread out and just shaking constantly. I froze for a minute but then quietly called her name whereas she immediately stopped and rolled over so her back was to me. I was born blonde but I'm not that dumb to go hang out with a demonic bratty 3-year-old. I got my brother to come in after enough nagging and he shook her awake a bit. When she woke up she asked him, "Daddy, why did you wake me up so early?" My friend wanted to play some more. I obviously noped the hell out of there. It could be nothing and just a coincidence but I'm not game for that. I'm not the parent, but I'm the creepy kid. Apparently when I was a baby, Every day without fail around 5 to 6 I would start laughing and babbling to myself like I was talking with friends or whatever. I could be facing a wall, on a high chair chilling somewhere or any place really, but no matter what, once it reached 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., I would start laughing hysterically and interacting with no one. I didn't believe my parents till they showed me some of what they caught on tape. It's bizarre. Not my kid, but a family friend of mine has a daughter that was always kind of odd to me. And my opinion was reserved when the kitten they had bought the kid was found dead, in a backpack, underneath a pile of toys. When they asked why the kitten was zipped up in the backpack and then hidden, she simply replied, "I told you I didn't want a cat," no remorse, or even emotion in her voice. Kid's nuts. Not a parent, but I'm the creepy kid. Before I could talk, for months and months I would be humming in my sleep, the same tune, over and over. I would hum it when I played with toys, was waiting for something, but the creepiest was when I was asleep and humming it. A few months later my aunt and uncle were watching TV and they recognized the tune. It was the commercial jingle, "Save big money at Menards." Not parent, but my little brother, was adopted, was creepy. When he first joined the family he was approximately 4 years old and having a very difficult time adjusting. One thing he did was at night he would sneak downstairs and eat candy and whatever sweets he could find. This was strange because it's not like any of us have ever stopped him from doing this in the daytime. So one morning, I was in middle school. I was up at 6 a.m. getting ready for school when I went downstairs to get breakfast. I noticed his door open and the light off in the room, so I peek in to see if he was in there and I should shut the door, but he wasn't there. Immediately I started to scream for my parents because I knew he has issues and maybe he had run away in the middle of the night. They come out and my sister too and we are searching the house. My mom is sobbing and calling the cops. Dad is running up and down the street looking for him. I checked the garage and couldn't find him hiding there either. At this point I am in deep need for the toilet, so I go to the one next to the garage. I walk in and simultaneously close the door and turn on the light. This is when I realize he was standing behind this door, in his pajamas and squinting from the change in light. I screamed at the top of my lungs, and he just shaved me a grumpy look and ran out of the bathroom. Literally one of the creepiest things he's done. I have realized 2 things in this category. 1. My daughter is creepy all the time, but only when it's just me and her. Point 2. I'm the dumb parent who walks right into every creepy scene from every creepy movie ever. When daughter was 3 she slept until 8:30 a.m. every morning. But one dreary day at 6 a.m. I hear the front door alarm go off. So I roll out of bed to check out the situation. The front door is open, and daughter is not out front. Or in entry. Or kitchen. Then I see her sitting on the ground, behind the curtains, right up to our sliding glass door. She was tapping on the glass singing, "Twinkle Twinkle," to herself. I just walk right up and pull the curtain back and get her up and back to bed. But damn it all if that doesn't constantly remind of that scene from Signs. And I am the father who just walks right up to the jump scare. Shame. Damn shame. I think that my parents tried to pretend that I wasn't creepy. When I was 8, I asked for the Alien trilogy for Christmas on VHS. I loved horror films. My other favorite series was the Jaws series. My favorite games were the Silent Hill series. I looked at some of my old school and papers from elementary school. I wrote a book for school called Aliens Took Over the Internet circa 1997. Later that year, our class was asked to draw our own version of Santa Claus. My Santa was called Psycho Santa. He had a straight jacket and he was receiving electroshock therapy. Our 3.5-YRD foster daughter spoke 6 different voices. They ranged from a normal 3-YRD girl, middle-aged woman, deep male voice, a growly demon voice, and multiple growly demon voices, 2 or 3 demon voices at once. She would talk in detail about what my wife and I talked about when she was not in the house. Conversations that my wife and I had with other adults and foster care workers. She would talk like a normal little girl, then tell us about people that she sees and talks to in our house. She would have adult conversations and play with ghosts. We locked her door from the outside and our door from the inside every night after she started standing 2 inches from our face and breathing in our exhaled air for several hours straight at night. We believe she was there for 4 to 6 hours a night staring at us. When I woke up and saw her 2 inches from my face, whispering in a deep voice about a man in a house 2 inches from my face, I almost threw her across the room. Both locks were broken after about 2 weeks. I have replaced them both with high-quality locks. We took her to a school for psychologically challenged youths and she has multiple therapists, doctors. No one really knows what to do. It looks like she will be medicated and in an institution soon. She is only going to be 6. I asked my 7-year-old cousin if she was excited for my sister to have her baby. At first she was kind of sad, because she wouldn't be the youngest in the family anymore. Moments later she brightened up. "Oh, that'll be good because if they're younger than me then I won't be left alone when Nathan dies." Nathan is her 12-year-old brother. I think she was just thinking way too far into the future, but still came out a little creepy. Driving in the car with my 4-year-old a couple weeks ago, him. "Mom, I want to go to the field with the rocks." Me. "What rocks?" Him. "The rocks with people's names on them." Me. "What? I have idea what you're talking about." Him. "The rocks with the names of the dead people, Mom." Me. "Oh, the cemetery? Why do you want to go there?" Him. "Yes, I want to go dig up the dead people and look at them." He will also wake up in the middle of the night and stand at my bed staring at me until I wake up. He's a sweet kid though. Just weirdly obsessed with dead people. Not my kid, but a childhood story about my wife. She was 7, watching a show with her parents that included a mass execution by firing squad. Her parents were big on reality exposure, but the show wasn't, I'm told, especially gory or bloody, just kind of stark. After the shooting stopped, she turns to her mum and asks, "How did they know if they died?" Her mum replies with something like, "Well, they were shooting a lot of bullets at them, so they wouldn't be likely to survive." Wife replies, "But it would have been so much easier to shoot them one by one and tick their names off the list." Her dad told this story at our wedding dinner. Good time.